everybody, and welcome back to the NASCAR Legend Series Season 4. It's been a long time, but we are ready to make our return at Geico Motor Speedway. 26 contestants line up, just like the other two races this season, to battle it out in race number 3 of a 10-race slugfest. No playoffs, no gimmicks, one halfway stage that does not contain a caution for points. Other than that, it's just about where you finish. It's Jimmie Johnson on pole today with Carl Edwards right alongside him. Remember, those were two of the drivers who battled for the Season 3 championship right alongside Bill Elliott starting third. But it's Jimmie Johnson with his second ever NASCAR Legend Series pole. You would think he'd have more by this point, but he's looking for a big boost in the standings, starting fairly low, I believe in the bottom half of this season's standings at the moment. It's Carl Edwards, who's P3 in points, and all of his championship rivals have qualified poorly today. He's got a shot to take the points lead and possibly be the first two-time NASCAR Legend Series champion. Looking strong early, and then it's Ryan Blaney. This is his first start in his own car after filling in for the late Cale Yarborough. He said pre-race he plans to carry on Cale Yarborough's legacy in the NASCAR Legend Series. Now the cars roll off here at Geico, and we are going to get to today's starting lineup. On the pole, as mentioned earlier, it's Jimmie Johnson. Beside him is Carl Edwards. Row number 2 is Bill Elliott and the 8 of Kyle Busch. Row 3 is Rockin' Man Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr., with row 4 being Kevin Harvick and Bobby Labonte. Row number 5 is Darrell Waltrip alongside Martin Truex Jr., and that rounds out your top 10. Row 6 is Rusty Wallace and Matt Kenseth, with row 7 being Brad Keselowski and Kyle Larson. Row 8, that's going to be Mark Martin and Michael Waltrip, both in COTs, and lots of 5s across the board. Then it's Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin in row 9, with Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano, Penske teammates, rounding out row 10. Row 11, Kurt Busch and the King, Richard Petty, with row 12 being Jeff Gordon and Chase Elliott in dual 24s. Then finally, rounding out the field, we have Dale Jarrett and Greg Biffle. Those are your 13 rows today as we get today's race info. It's a 10-lap race. This track is very unique, a very tight backstretch, and a super speedway-like front stretch. Think Atlanta. Momentum out of the corners is going to be very important, but you can't leave yourself vulnerable on the entrance to that last hairpin before you hit the drafting straight. The cars get ready to go green here at Geico. Into the back straightaway for the first time, it's Jimmie Johnson leading Carl Edwards as they all single file out and now hit the drafting front straightaway. Cars will get up to 176 miles an hour. That's the best we've ever seen at the line, right before slamming on the brakes into turn 1. It's Carl Edwards who manages to get by Jimmie Johnson. Bill Elliott still hanging in third, and Johnson's around. Early trouble for the 84 machine. He needed a big day today, and it looks like he's not gonna get it. What happened in the hairpin? Geico's hairpin is legendary for its tightness, and it looks like Johnson, the back end, gets away from him, taps the wall while he slows down to correct it. It's Bill Elliott who's trying to get a run onto the front straightaway. That run's so important, and Elliott has no room to back out of the corner. Johnson stuck sideways, and he is going to go all the way to the back. It's not easy to pass here. You really only have that big drafting front straightaway, and Johnson is now going to have to battle through the pack if he wants any shot at a good points day today. Looking at the results of the choose cone, it's Carl Edwards and Ryan Newman who are going to make up that front row, Newman risking the outside and the possible freight train in turn 1. Now the cars form back up onto the front straightaway, fans are on their feet, and we are going to keep racing from Geico. Carl Edwards once again with a big advantage as they are coming to stage points, this time by halfway points awarded at the end of lap 5. The top 5 get it. It's Carl Edwards with the win. Harvick will get 5th points, and Dale Jr.'s in the wall. Hard incident. We cannot keep this race going. That's Dale Jr. hard into the outside retaining barrier. We need to take a look at exactly what happened here. As cars came across for the halfway bonus points, it looks like he just gets shipped by Darrell Waltrip. Waltrip was trying to get by Jr. Looks like wanted that inside. Jr. wasn't giving. and then Junior overcorrects after getting tapped by Waltrip hard into the outside wall. These kinks in the front straightaway make it so difficult to move around and judge where the cars in front of you are going. I believe Waltrip thought he was going to get the inside, didn't get it, made contact, and Junior nowhere to go but the outside wall. A hard racing incident that'll leave the 8 car out of the race. Thank goodness for the safety features we have in these cars and in these tracks. These walls are softer than they look. The choose cone now shows Edwards to the inside again, and Newman gonna try the outside again. Bill Elliott sticking in that 3rd position as Harvick moves his way up to 4th on the outside for the restart. Junior is out of it, but we still have 3 laps to go. Here from Geico, green flags in the air as we go NASCAR Legend Series all out. It's Darrell Waltrip making moves in the back still, but up front it's Carl Edwards leading, and Ryan Newman gets moved out of the way for 2nd. Kyle Busch has got a fast car and is looking to catch up to the draft of Carl Edwards down the front straightaway. Does he have it? Yes, he does. Moving to the outside of the 99 car. Bill Elliott, though, is going to give Carl Edwards a push. White flag of the race, and Bill Elliott's moving towards the lead. Huge crash in the back. Mark Martin up into the catch fence. Caution is out. That's going to end the race, and Mark Martin's car is destroyed upside down on the front straightaway in a massive hole torn into the catch fence right at the flag stand. Mark Martin, window net down even though the car's upside down. EMT crews getting to him and to the grandstands where fans, it looks like no one's hurt, but the EMTs are going to do another job to make sure as there is a complete hole ripped out of that catch fence. We need to look at a replay here, and man, that car gets up fast. Even before the car's fully exposed to air on the wing, that car's lifting into the air. They're already going around 170, maybe a little faster at that part of the track in these big draft trains, and it's Michael Waltrip pushing Joey Logano. Mark Martin tries to block a little bit late. Michael Waltrip's aggressive with the push, and it all goes horribly wrong. Looking at it at live speed now. That 5 car gets up into the air so fast and completely clears the wall. The only thing separating that car from the fans was the catch fence. That car did not touch the outside wall one time for a second. The nose of that car hits the bottom of the catch fence. I would dare say the middle of the catch fence. Completely misses the wall altogether. What a horrifying crash here at Geico. Those COT cars, they might be fast, but they certainly come with a fair bit of risk as Mark Martin's car is rolled back over, and now we've got another thing to worry about. The leader is not official at the moment. NASCAR Legend Series officials are debating as to who the winner is, mainly between Bill Elliott and Ryan Newman. Let's take a look at the leaders here as this happens. They're still syncing up the caution light data with everything, but Bill Elliott appeared to have the lead around the time of caution, and that's what they're talking about. Bill Elliott pulls off into the hairpin I don't think they realized the caution was out yet, and Bill Elliott was forced off the racetrack, so he served a stop and go, which is what you're supposed to do in that hairpin. It's slow enough where you don't lose a ton of time from it. He thought that was his best shot to score points, clearly. And now we have a scoring controversy of an interesting kind. Does the stop and go count as not maintaining pace car speed under caution? That's what Ryan Newman's trying to argue, is now we get the caution lights synced up. And right there is where the caution comes out. It looks like Bill Elliott's in the lead, but the cars haven't slowed down for the yellow flag yet. The yellow is out, but because the pace is still moving, it looks like Ryan Newman camp is trying to argue that Bill Elliott coming to a stop means he's forfeited his position as the leader, but right there it's shown that Bill Elliott is the leader as the caution comes out. The officials now have to put this all in their own hands. I've never seen anything like this. This is like a Greg Biffle, Kansas 2007 finish, but possibly more confusing and with less clear-cut answers. But in good news, Mark Martin is in the ambulance. His car is being towed into the infield. It doesn't look like any fans were injured. Now we just await word on NASCAR Legend Series officials who have come to a decision, and they have decided that it's going to be Bill Elliott who is given the win. He will not be penalized for that stop and go under caution. They say he was doing what was best in mind with racing intent, as the caution had just come out. So Bill Elliott will take the win here at Geico Motor Speedway. What a phenomenal and interesting finish. Mark Martin's crash, horrifying, and provided us with one of the strangest ways to end a race I've ever seen. But it's going to be Bill Elliott hosting the trophy on the front straightaway here at Geico. Congratulations to Firelinks, Bill Elliott's sponsor, for coming out on top in a strange race. Ryan Newman was given the second place position, knocking Carl Edwards back to third. That might have had something to do with Bill Elliott being forced off into the chicane. Those race results are unofficial, but that is what the committee has decided right now. As we look at your point standings after this race, it's Carl Edwards with a 6-point lead above Bill Elliott. There are only about half as many points awarded in this series as there are in the actual NASCAR Cup Series, so 6 points, that's not a small difference. Carl Edwards looking comfortable out front, and Mark Martin has a long way to go after a challenging and horrific day ender for him. That is all we've got here from Geico Motor Speedway. Thank you everybody so much for watching. More races are coming. It'll be Old Phoenix Road Course up next, followed by Old Phoenix. That'll be race 4 and 5. After that, we may remake some old fan favorites or move on to something completely new. Only time will tell. I want to thank ESMN, give him a special shout out. We've been doing the new accountability system. I think we talked about it on our podcast, which is coming out. It should have come out just 2 days before this race did. 80,000 frames. It is on his channel. Y'all should watch. It's a good one indeed. That is all I have for you guys for now. So as always, thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good night.